Last time on the Just Create SMP, I moved my entire workshop lower into the world so that I could make the lake below my sky island deep enough to build a boat. And this time I'll be building that boat, and it will actually work. So building a boat that actually works means I'm going to need rail, because of course it's actually going to be a train that's just in the water. And in order to make rail, or track, I need lots of iron nuggets or zinc nuggets and a whole bunch of slabs. And I have a machine over here that won't need much modification at all in order to make it do that, which is my precision mechanism making machine. It's already got 2 deploys, we just need to turn that one into a press, and hey presto, it's a track machine then, isn't it? So how many iron have I got is the first question to actually turn into iron nuggets, and I can no longer use Stam's emergency iron button because I'm no longer connected to Stam's iron farm. So that's a bit of a problem. We'll have to see how we get. Oh, I've got quite a lot of iron nuggets though. I shall call on myself for a press. Need some shaft, chain drive, gearboxes, potentially those. That should help me build all of that. Maybe some belt. There's all my building bits. That's 1 shulker box worth. And then I need another one. The question is though, how many stone slabs do I get from stone? So if I was to put in a recipe here, I get 66 for 33. So you're basically doubling up. We know we need 1.7 thousand. So let's just send all of those to my crafter. And while they're crafting up, I'll go and get all of these in place and fix my machine. Are they actually crafting up? It would appear not. Did you not send it? Well, that was weird. Let's just try send a little bit to that then. Is that gonna work? That worked. Huh. Now, if my crafter's going to play up, the other way I can automate this, I think, is to use my stone cutter or my mechanical saw. If I put slabs on there and throw one of those on, does that then turn into a slab? Oh, it's too fast. I didn't see it go. It does. Oh, okay. So I can just leave that on there then and just send a bunch of those to that. I don't want to send the slabs through. So we'll just send a few stacks through that. Perfect. That should be plenty. We'll send that to FNT saw. Is it actually going to go this time? It looks like it is. Good. Right, now I can fiddle with that machine. So first things first then, I'm going to get rid of these barrels and literally just replace them with these shulker boxes instead because they're easier to manage. There we go, that's my iron ones on. This one's going to have my stone stuff in it. And now we just need to replace this. And I don't need any other things because that has the same connection as these guys. That doesn't want a barrel, that wants iron nuggets. And I think we're good to go now. Oh, and of course I don't want stone going in there at all. That's not where that's not what's happening here. So I'll just put the barrel back for now. Of course, what we're going to be doing is sending the stone slabs through there. And they're going to come through here and they're going to get turned into train track. Amazing. So now I just need all of my stuff sent into there. Now I could put a frog on here and do that automatically, but I'm not going to, because I don't want all sorts of things going through my precision mechanism making machine that I don't know what's happening with it. So I'm just going to literally call for as many of these stone slabs as I've got, which will hopefully actually come to me. There we go. Shove those in there. And then just put all of these in here. And that's just going to go through, making me lots and lots of lovely track. Now, of course, I don't need tons at the moment, but I will in the future, so it's a good idea to make as much as possible. But the other thing I'm going to need is going to be hard casing, or whatever it's called, train casing maybe. This stuff, and that needs sturdy sheet, and sturdy sheet is lava, which I have none of, and powdered obsidian, which I have none of. Now, I have got a little bit of obsidian, which I got previously, 40 pieces of it. And the good thing about this is that I can basically send this through my crushing wheels and I'll get some back. I won't get all of it back, but I'll get some back, which means I'm going to get a reasonable amount of powdered obsidian as well as a little bit of obsidian back. So I shouldn't have wasted it all. Yeah, there we go. It's all going through the system, but there we go. It's coming through. We're getting the obsidian back and the powdered obsidian, which is great. And that's all now gone winging its way back into the system. And those 40 blocks got me 33 obsidian back and my 40 powdered obsidian. Bonus. But now I need to turn this into sturdy sheet. And because I don't have any lava, that could be tricky. However, with a bit of luck, if I go over to Mr. Beardstone's power station, I believe not long ago, he actually had a machine set up to do exactly that. See, Mr. Beardstone's power station runs on an infinite supply of lava that just happens to be underneath that mountain, and apparently someone's stealing a bunch of it by the looks of things, but that's not my problem right now. That's, oh, jeez. Oh, if it's not drowned, it's, leave me alone. Ah! Oh my goodness, Mr. Beardstone, have you heard of lights? A bit of glow lichen in your car park might not go as they just get... What? They weren't there when I was flying in. Ah, stop it. We need to get in there. No, try again. We're going to have to thread the needle, peeps. We need to basically fly through that tiny weeny little gap to get inside. Yeah, there we go. Ha! Get me now, fools. Right, anyway, yes, under Mr. Beardstone's power station down here, there should be nothing. There's supposed to be a train casing machine here, Mr. Beardstone. Well, it's not here, but that big old tank outside gave me an idea, and I'm going to steal that idea right now. I just got to try and... Yeah! Goodbye, skills. And of course, my idea is to also get a big old tank's worth of lava. And that is as high a tank as I can make right now, which is not quite as tall as the other one, but that's going to be plenty of lava for me for now. So I'm just going to, seeing so that one is full, just redirect this pipe around here a little bit, put it into my tank instead, and that should slowly start filling up with lots and lots of lava. And I'm going to get 1,000,000 milli buckets, which I think is like 1,000 buckets worth. So yeah, I'm going to be happy with that. And while that's filling up, I should probably go and make a machine that's going to turn this obsidian stuff into the stuff that I need. And this isn't the easiest way to get into my base, but it does work. In order to build this sturdy sheep machine, I'm going to start utilizing the bottom of my workshop, since I haven't used any of it yet, and I think we're going to build it in here for now. We should have, if I remember correctly, a bit of power running around the outside. We do, just there, so that's handy. And a sturdy sheep machine is basically the same as my other machine, except it only needs to go once. And so in no time at all, my sturdy sheep machine was ready, and all I needed was that giant tank of lava. All we need to do then is get rid of the pipe that's connected to Mr. Beardstone's system, take it away, and no one would ever know, except for when they watch my video, if they watch my video, or when my comments tell them. You see, I've not had the bill through for his service charge yet, so I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to be expensive if he finds out about this, so let's hope he doesn't. And all we need to do is hop down here, find a good place to put it, round about there like that. That's perfect. That's not banging into anything at all. It just fits within the ceiling space as well, so that's good. Let's put that thing down so it actually turns into a real thing, and then we just need to connect this pipe to that pump, and there we go. We're connected. Well, lava is flowing. This is good. So all I need to do now is throw in my powdered obsidian and we should be good to go. Let's do this. There it goes. We are making sturdy sheet. All thanks to Mr. Beardstone. Oh, he's such a lovely chap. He's so generous allowing us to do this with his stuff. Now, obviously, that's created sturdy sheet, but that's not the final ingredient we need, because we need train casing, which is literally just a case of touching brass casing with sturdy sheet in order to make it. So I'm going to need some brass casing, and I think I've got a bit, but we're probably going to need a little bit more than I've got. Oh, we got 23. That's more than enough. So I'm just going to put a line of these brass sheets along here like this, grab a bunch of those which have all finished now, and just go along here. And I've made achievements. I have reached the locomotive age. This is amazing. Now I can make all the trains that I want. We're going to need 2 sets of train controls. We're going to need at least 1 station. We're going to need a schedule. We're going to need our train casing. Then we're going to need a whole bunch of track. Oh, and I don't want to make thing out of power tokens machine. You're so stupid. Right, I'm taking my power tokens out of here. Not power tokens to make a schedule, thank you. And then power tokens live over here in this chest near my power system thing. There we go. Oh, and with other things in there as well, apparently. Take all of that out of there. That doesn't need to be in there. And there we go. And we've got a bunch more track in there as well. Amazing. Oh, we are doing well today. The other thing I'm going to need is a seat. And that should be all of the base ingredients I need to make a train or a boat. But of course, that's not going to actually help me build a boat. I'm going to need materials for that, but I haven't designed my boat yet, so I'm going to have to do some work in the creative world first to come up with a plan. But basically, let me just go somewhere and show you how all of this works, and I think my sky basement might be a good place for this. So all we need to do is put down a little bit of track like that, then you just pop a station down next to it somewhere, and then you click create new train. Once that's done, you can pop your train casing on there and that becomes a bogey. Now, unfortunately, we don't have steam and rails on here, so we can only change that between big wheel and small wheels, which of course boats don't have wheels, and that means we've got to do a little bit of tomfoolery. In order for me to design my boat without legions of the watery undead making life less pleasurable, I decided it would be better to design my boat in a creative download of the server. So I'll see you on a creative world. And here we are in a very creative version of the world taken just moments ago. And basically what I need to figure out is where I'm going to put my track. And coming over to Mr. Beardstone's amazing station that we've not looked at in detail yet. Check out Mr. Beardstone's video if you want to see that in detail. Obviously, if I was making a normal train, it would be nice and simple. I would put down my bogey and then I would just build my train around it in order to make a train. How hard could that be? But when we're building boats, we don't want the bogey to be visible. And I don't really want the track to be visible underwater either. And before you all start with your comments about killing loads of phantoms to get phantom rail, that's from the Steam and Rails Create add-on, which isn't available for our version of Create and Minecraft yet. And that means I'm going to have to do some hiding. Now, what we could do is put our track all the way down here at the bottom of the lake and then just sort of add some greenery around it to try and disguise it a little bit. And from the surface, assuming I didn't have conduit power and night vision, that would be a little bit less visible. But that means that my bogey's going to be all the way down here, and then I would basically add a whole bunch of glass panes on top of it because they're sort of invisible a bit, and I'd bring them all the way up here to the top to start building my boat. But that's an awful long way down. Now, it would be technically invisible, but it is of course still visible, and I don't really want it to be visible, and I also don't want it to be that far down. And that means I need to make this lake significantly less deep after all that time making it deep. Now, we are going to need to make it a little bit less deep because at the moment, where I'm standing here is not sea level. I'm currently on Y66. If we go over to the ocean, that is Y63. So we do need to go down 3 layers with the water. So what I'm thinking is we raise this up a bit. Let's put one of those there and one of those here. Add our tracks a little bit more floaty. Let's just get rid of some of this water for a second, and of course it's just going to fill straight back in. I want the water the right level, game. I've got another idea. If we fill it with stone and then make it a little bit smaller. I missed that edge, but that kind of works. That's where our water level's going to be, with 13 blocks below the water level. And then what I would do is basically continue this over the top of the track. You see, that's only going to be a problem in this lake, where the lake is currently low. As we start going through the terrain, it's not going to be a problem at all because it's all going to be buried by the terrain below it. And then when we get to the ocean, it's only going to be a problem when the ocean is lower than that, because then we can just dig underneath and, yeah, go through the bottom of the ocean. And if we look at this here, how deep is this compared to the water? 15. So I think we go 16 blocks down and do our track there, which means I actually need to be exactly where I was in the first place, which, believe it or not, was completely unintentional. But now I need to design a boat. I feel like it needs to have some sort of steampunk vibes, and also, looking at Mr. Beardstone's tunnel bore, modern industrial vibe? Is that modern I don't really know the term for this other than steampunk, but yeah, this sort of vibe, but for a boat. How hard could that be? Many hours is how hard it was. As I had genuinely no idea what I would end up building, I simply just threw myself into it, starting with a basic boat shape. I used industrial iron and weathered industrial iron blocks for the hull of the boat, keeping the weathered versions closer to the water to suggest rusting or corrosion from being in and close to the water. I then added a few iron ladders as trim around the top layer of the boat, an andesite casing deck, and began working on the superstructure where the accommodation and bridge would be. And taking a leaf out of Mr. Beardstone's playbook, I used as many creative things as I could to design it to make it look more industrial and interesting. In terms of decoration, I opted for a copper roof mixed with warped nether wood with industrial iron walls mixed with variations of deep slate. And then I threw in a few copper tanks, pipes, girders and shafts around to help it feel more industrial and steampunky, I suppose. With the first hour out of the way and the basic boat shape in place, the next hour and a half were dedicated to bring this rather flat looking build to life. as well as adding in something that would not only rival Mr. Beardstone's tunnel boring trains, but vastly supersede it. But we'll get to that later. Firstly, I added some vaults both for decoration and storage, followed by some stone pillar blocks that I set up to look like containers. I also added a couple of copper tanks for some fluid storage, as well as far too many item hatches and crushing wheels for no reason other than adding that steampunk industrial vibe that I was going for. Next, it was time to build up the hull of the boat, which I spent a while on. I was trying to add some roundness as well as some more unusual detail, utilizing flywheels and chain conveyors, attempting to raise up the front of the hull to prevent the overall shape of the boat feeling a bit too flat. I also added some pipes along the edge of the boat with valves on, adding in some oil tanker vibes, and then it was time to add the bit that would make Mr. Beardstone very jealous. As I was building a boat in a closed lake with no access to the ocean, the boat would need a way to dig its own tunnels through the terrain in order to get to the ocean. And in order to do that, what better than a huge array of drills that cover the entire height and width of the boat, supported from a bearing contraption, which meant I'd be able to move them out of the way so I could see where the boat was going when they wouldn't be in use. With 2.5 hours over, the boat still had no interior at all. But before I got started on that, I wanted to check that my many drills attached to the mechanical bearing would actually work. So I threw a valve onto the back of the bearing, gave it a twist, and... no! It's a good job I made a backup before I tested it. With the backup loaded, the drills working, and a system in place to activate the bearing all the way from the bridge, and a very important sign in place below the valve, it was time to start actually decorating below deck. As trains, or boats in this particular situation, can actually carry items and fluids, I decided to make the lower deck a storage area, filling it with vaults and tanks, as well as a few barrels and some hay bales to fill out the front area. I then moved on to the accommodation block, starting at the lower level, adding in a little interior decoration, followed by the first floor, which had just a few beds in it. And once that was done, the second floor, where the bridge was, needed a new window, because while the weathered industrial iron windows look really nice, they're a bit hard to see out of. So I threw in some stained glass paint instead, and with that done, the boat was finished. All I needed to do now was glue it all together and see if it actually worked. Well, we have a boat. A very creative boat at the moment. It's obviously not in the actual server yet, but I kind of like it. And of course, I've added in a whole bunch of storage and a whole bunch of storage interfaces, because we'll have to have docks that can actually put items onto this and take them off. I've also got a fluid interface at the back here. Obviously, we've got our train controls and our seat, and then we've got a little bit of decoration, but not too much. I've also got this little bit at the front here, which I don't really know what it is or what it's for, but I kind of like it. And I feel like all of these mechanisms combined are what's helping to drive these massive drills once they're down. But there is a bit of a problem. You see, the create limit for contraptions is 2048 blocks, and this is substantially larger than that. So I had to go into the settings and change the amount of blocks that the contraptions could have, and I thought I'd double it. But that wasn't enough either, so I doubled it again, and then I was actually able to turn this thing into a boat. Now, before I go ahead and show you that thing moving, I'm going to take a backup of this world, because unfortunately, if I move it the wrong way, it actually completely destroys itself, which is exactly why it says do not turn, this will destroy the boat. Because you know what's going to happen. Someone's going to come along, spin that handle, because it's a big red handle, and then make my boat eat itself, which I really don't want them to do. The other thing is, you can only actually turn this while the boat is not a boat, i.e. when it's disassembled at the station, which is probably a good thing, because that means when it is actually a boat and not just a bunch of blocks in the world, I can't actually turn this and I can't make the boat destroy itself. That obviously does mean when we're driving the boat that if we actually want to demolish something in front of us, we're going to have to stop, disassemble the boat at a station, lower the thing, and then reassemble it. But I'm prepared to put up with that to not have people come along while it's a boat and destroy it for me. So now I've gone ahead and taken a backup, so I'm going to disassemble the train, hop myself back up into the little area up here, and try and remember which way round I need to spin this to not let the boat destroy itself. And I think it's anti-clockwise. It is. I got it right. So shift to make it go down and not shift to make it come up. So yeah, this is what the boat looks like with all of the drills at the front, which will be mincing through whatever we decide to aim it at. And of course it goes underneath as well to make sure there's plenty of room for the bottom of the boat to go through. I haven't actually tried to assemble the boat with that down yet though, so let's just try that out. Reassemble the train, come back up to here and see, does it drive with it at the front? It does. It is going. That's amazing. I can drive the boat and the drills. Oh, this is brilliant. I've just got to get it onto the server now and ask Mr. Beardstone if I can change the config. So back on the server, of course, the next thing to do is figure out what resources I'm going to need to build this thing. But before we do that, the server's been updated. We've got new mods. We now have Create Enchantment Industry added, Straw Statues, Firefly Bushes, something called a Camera mod, the Shuffle mod that Chosen uses, and the Vanilla Backport. So we've basically got all of the new vanilla features like Pale Wood and stuff that we didn't have because we're on Minecraft 1.21. So I'm sure we'll be fiddling with those at some point, but before we do that, I need a giant vault and a schematic cannon and a step because I'm small. And let's do exactly what we did last time. Throw the cannon on top, put the table down, put my empty schematic in it, and see if we can actually load this in before I have to go to bed in several hours. Oh, and we've got apple skin mod too. I forgot about that. We actually have the schematic now. I need to figure out where we're going to put it, I guess, and then we can put it in the can and see what we need. Oh, geez. Want it down there? There-ish. Whoa, jeez. Don't know exactly where we're going to be putting the boat, but it's going to be in the water somewhere. Let's move it up a bit. I think that feels about right, but I'm not sure. Fly over here. And we should probably bring it this way a bit so that we can get it above that flat bit of the platform below us. Yeah, okay. Well, that'll do for now. Let's go and see what materials we need. And we need a whole bunch of things. And then we can send whatever we've already got to the cannon and hopefully tick off a whole bunch of things off our list already. So I spent the next couple of hours getting together everything I needed, including a ridiculous quantity of crushing wheels, a bunch of weathered and oxidized copper, which I modified my sturdy sheet machine to make, and then I had to put up with the horrendous noise the squirting machine made to oxidize them. I then needed to wax them on Stam's waxing machine to prevent them from oxidizing further, and after that there were only a handful of items I couldn't produce. Well, I have just about everything I need now. Looking at my list, the only things I'm missing are azurine pillars, crimsite pillars, mangrove doors, and stripped warp hyphae. And as Mr. Beardstone was in a seemingly good mood today, having let me increase the contraption limit in the server config, I thought he might be able to help me get the last few things I needed. Mr. Beardstone! Miss Beardstone! Miss Beardstone! The problem was, however, Mr. Beardstone? Finding him. He says in the nether. He tried to get me with this the other day. I don't know if I believe that it's in the nether, but we'll go and find out. So all I gotta do is go south about 100 blocks. There is a dot. And a portal. Okay. And a chain and a stick made of metal. 9 bar. Yes. Metal stick. Mr. Beardstone! Mr. Beardstone! Oh my goodness. Mr. Beardstone! Mr. Beardstone! Mr. Beardstone!
Oh, yeah, he's found me. Yes, Foxy?
Hey,
hello,
buddy. How you doing?
Good. Just building my first actual factory farm thing.
It seems how you're in such a good mood today. I would like to request that you tell me where the azurine is. Give me some crimsite, 2 mangrove doors, and 21 stripped warped hyphae, please.
I mean, since you asked so nicely, jeez. Right, have you got a bed?
Yes, at home.
Right. Same here. I don't have one with me.
Have you got any wood? There's a sheep here.
So yeah, I did consider that. I was eyeing up the sheep, but I don't have any shears on me.
Any shears? There's another sheep over here, Miss Beardstone. As I was teaching Mr. Beardstone how to make a bed in Minecraft, he decided it might be funny to test if my armor was capable of dealing with a point-blank explosion. I've got enough wool now. Have you got any wood?
Well, there's a tree over here. You might as well take that out as well, to be honest, at this stage.
Let's get this one there. There we go. We don't want to take the whole tree down. That would be mean, wouldn't it? I need one more.
No, don't you even think about it. You chop down that whole tree, Foxy.
No. I don't want to.
Mr. FoxyNoTail.
You know, I'm very eco-conscious. I don't want to be.
Do you want to know where the Azarine is?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Foxy?
Yeah. Fortunately, my new armor was good enough to survive the explosion. Half a heart! Literally half a heart. So as I gathered myself together, still reeling from the shock, I haven't got back. Jeez. Wow. Thanks,
Foxy!
Miss B.
Run now, Foxy! No!
Great. Oh, I'm having a good day.
Oh, that's hilarious. I have actual tears in my eyes, Foxy.
Mid B's down.
Did you spawn on top of the mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm poorly now, and I've got no way to get back into my base because it's in the sky.
Haven't you got a lift?
Yeah, but that's underwater now, like miles down. I can't. It's down.
Right, okay.
After Mr. Beardstone pulled himself together, he did eventually come find me with all of my things.
Anyway, where were we? Azarine.
Yeah, so Azurine, any Crimsite, if you've got any, mangrove doors, and stripped warped hyphae.
Oh, I literally have 2 mangrove doors in my storage. What are the
lovely.
chances? How much Crimsite do you need?
20.
Okay, you can have a stack.
Nice,
And
thank you.
warped, you need stripped warped.
21. I mean, I'm happy to strip, not stripped, warped, whatever it is.
That's okay. I've got you covered, Foxy. Don't you worry.
Brilliant. Thanks to Mr. Beardstone, I had everything I needed except for Azurine, which I'd not come across at all in my previous mining efforts. Fortunately, Mr. Beardstone knew exactly where some was, and he even took me over to find it. You know, you've been really nice to me today. Is there something wrong? You're not feeling okay?
I don't know. I'm obviously just in a good mood, Foxy. I'm in an even better mood after seeing you blow up. No, I mean, nothing personal. It was just hilarious.
Yeah, no, you know, these things happen.
In fact, it was that funny. I'm going to play it again. Oh, Foxy!
Thanks,
Run now,
Big
Foxy!
Okay, so with those last few blocks going over to my cannon, if I put my checklist in now, we should find that we have absolutely everything we need. We do, which means there's no time like the present. Let's build a boat. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure how well schematic cannons work underwater, so the first thing I'm going to do is make myself a little pillar under the water so that I can get out of the water and avoid those fellas that are always trying to kill me. Ow. See, they're already... Leave me alone. Why? You're obsessed with me. Once I got the Volton cannon down, I decided to just go for it, rather than doing any sort of pre-checks, of course. Because from previous experience, everything had always just gone so smoothly. And while it did take quite a while to blast the entire thing into place, once it was done, just about everything looked as I'd expected. It has successfully cannoned into the world and it looks spectacular. Now, I haven't been rounded and checked it all yet, but I need to do that, and it looks like we have somehow missed a few blocks, which I'm not really sure how that worked because it said we had everything, so I guess we're going to have to double check a few things. Weirdly just missing those blocks there. Okay, fine. But everything else seems to be in place. I've got a random block here for some reason. I don't know why that's there. That's a bit weird. But otherwise, everything looks like it's been placed as it should have been. So I was quite surprised when I went to remove the vault below the cannon, and it still had quite a lot of things in it. Oh, geez, there's an awful lot of stuff in there. How much stuff are we missing? The doors are on. So we've managed to duplicate the doors somehow. That's interesting. Yeah, we managed to duplicate a lot of things somehow. I'm not really sure how that's happened. Deciding to ignore the couple of weird things going on, I cleared up the mess of duplicated items and then realized I had another problem. I didn't put any glue in the schematic cannon, so nothing on the boat is glued together. And that means I've got to glue this entire thing in survival. It took over 2 more hours and 6 tubes of super glue to get the boat fully glued together. And while getting the majority of the blocks glued wasn't too much of a problem, let's not talk about gluing the underside of the boat, getting the final few blocks connected was an absolute nightmare. Assembling the boat, moving it a bit to see what wasn't connected, moving it back to the station, disassembling it again, adding more glue and repeating that over and over and over until there were only a couple of blocks left that weren't connected. Well, I think I've just about glued everything together. There are a couple more blocks that are right at the bottom that are very difficult to get, but I think these are literally the last two. So if we hop down, go through the door, hop down here into my little basementy place, and wait a minute.
There's somebody coming down. Quiet.
You hear something?
It's like is that a fox?
Hello?
Foxes
Hello?
can't talk.
There's a man! There's a man on my boat!